Hey guys, so I am back again, and I thought I would make you a little video because I've been getting a ton of messages from you guys on Instagram that are about to start either clinical or the respiratory therapy program for the very first time, headed into your first semester. And I know that it can be a really overwhelming time, and I am sure you guys are actually finding this video because you're already feeling anxious and a little bit overwhelmed. So I wanted to give you guys my top pieces of advice for those of you getting started and to kind of help guide you in the right direction, at the beginning of your experience in the respiratory therapy program. Before I get started, I just want to let you guys know, if you guys like these videos or even have suggestions for videos in the future, make sure you like and subscribe, leave your comments down below, share, whatever you want to do. And then you guys can also find me and message me personally on Instagram, just at breatheeasy_RRT. So first thing first, you are going to be overwhelmed. I'm pretty sure it's part of the process. Any medical program that you go into, it's stressful. There's a lot of classes, it's a lot of information. I remember my first day of school, someone compared it to trying to drink from a fire hose. And the first semester is really hard to get kind of into gear because it's all new. It's, studying for the classes in the respiratory therapy program are a lot different than any other of, the classes I had ever taken. Any of my prereqs, even things like anatomy and physiology, it was just a lot different. The focus was so much heavier. And I remember in my first semester, I had cardiac A&P. I panicked so much in that class, and I remember thinking it was so hard and felt like I just wasn't understanding these concepts that maybe I should have been understanding. And I cannot tell you how many times I felt overwhelmed, how many study groups I had to go to, all the tutoring I got, and that's okay. That's completely normal. Find your people, get a group together to, start study groups, get tutoring, whatever you need. It's completely fine. There's nothing wrong with asking for that help, especially in the beginning. And like I said, being overwhelmed it seems like a rite of passage or almost like part of the process, because that very same class that I took that I was so overwhelmed in, when I went into my hemodynamics class in my very last semester, we reviewed that same chapter that we started with that I was panicking about. And I remember reading through it in EGIDS. And in my very last semester, everything just clicked and flowed, and it was so easy. And it was just this amazing feeling to see how far I had come from the first semester of feeling overwhelmed and panicked and like maybe I just wasn't going to get it, going into my last semester being about to graduate and everything making sense. So that being said, the primary number one tip I can give you to start with when you guys are already feeling so overwhelmed and anxious and you haven't started the program yet, give yourself some grace and take care of yourself, because things are going to seem hard at first. It's probably unlike anything you've done before, and even if you already have experience in the medical field, it's a completely different portion of the medical field. You're still going to find different things difficult. So again, give yourself a little bit of slack, a little bit of grace, and take care of yourself in those moments that you start to feel really overwhelmed and like maybe you're not gonna be able to get through it. Don't give up. Do whatever you need to do to kind of calm down, do something to get your mind off of it, and then go right back in. Keep pushing, don't give up. That's the most important thing. So the second piece of advice I want to give you is to plan a realistic study schedule, and maybe not even just studying. Add anything to it that you need to your classes, whether, you go to the gym or have something outside, your kids, whatever it is that you need to add to that schedule. Add everything in at once, because that's going to help you create a realistic study schedule. I remember when I first started making study schedules, I'd be like, oh yeah, I've got the whole day to study. I'm going to be able to study for 12 hours straight and nothing is going to happen in between. Well, that's not realistic, to be honest. We've all, at some point you probably will pull an all-nighter or, a long study schedule, but you need to find a method of studying that works for you. One, because 1 hour of effective studying is going to be 10 times more beneficial than 4 to 5 hours of ineffective studying, if that makes any sense. And then also with making a realistic study schedule, you need to gauge your own understanding of the material. Let's say you scheduled an hour time slot for, I don't know, hemodynamics, just as an example. And after that hour, you still feel really unsure, really uneasy. Take a break, go to your next study topic, but know that you need to go back and re-review and readjust your study schedule to give yourself more time to understand that concept as needed. And same thing with being realistic and mentioning, studying, thinking I was going to study for 12 hours. It's so important to listen to your body because, again, even if you find an effective study method, if you were just completely exhausted and stressed beyond reason, even if you're using the most effective method of studying for you, you're not going to retain things and understand things. And in the respiratory therapy program, it is so important to understand concepts rather than just memorizing words. Because you could memorize EGANS, which is our respiratory Bible, if you guys haven't already heard. You could memorize, the whole paragraph and repeat it word for word, but do you really understand the concepts in it? Because if you don't, it's going to sound great when you say it, but can you apply it? Can you think critically beyond what that paragraph is telling you and put it to use? So you need to find a way to be able to not only, read and, memorize the important words and values, but actually understand those concepts. And last but not least, probably the most important thing in this whole video, if you take anything from this, ask for help when you need it. Use your resources. Nobody starts a respiratory therapy program or any program knowing everything and understanding every concept the first time through. So it is so important to know when you need help. Even if you're not completely struggling and you're just having a little bit of difficulty understanding part of a concept, talk to somebody about it, whether it's saying it out loud and talking through it that kind of helps you understand just by, saying it out loud. It's kind of like when you think you have a really good idea, but then you say it out loud and you go, oh, maybe that's a bad idea. Maybe I didn't understand that the way I thought I did. It doesn't matter what stage you're at, whether you're in your first semester, in your last semester, or even once you're a full-fledged respiratory therapist. Ask for help when you need it. And that's something that's amazing in the medical community, is that it's ever evolving and everyone's learning, and there's a million ways to do different things, and there's different practices all throughout the country and all throughout the world. So there's always something to learn from other people, and they may have a better way of explaining something to you. Don't let yourself get to the point of struggling where you're not sure you're going to make it because your grades are struggling, because you don't want to ask for help. We all need help sometimes. Like I said in the beginning of this video, we all feel overwhelmed. It's going to happen at some point or another. It's just life, and these programs are difficult. So don't be scared to ask for help when you need it. Alright guys, so that is it for this video. Again, if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments down below, or you guys can find me on Instagram at breatheeasy_RRT. Alright guys, I will see you next time, and good luck in your first semester.